Some of you have been asking how this is all possible. Just using my own methodology, no Triton, no other chemicals, no water changes for coming up on 3 years now. Sanjay, this view's just for you because I know when you've been over in the past you've liked just the whites, so I've cranked up the daylight whites for you. I prefer a little bit more blues to it. Let me take you around back here and you can check out what takes care of this system. This system is built in to my wall here, and I kind of planned it out so that I could have everything in a room of its own here. It's climate controlled with a 2-ton mini split that takes care of this room and humidity. It's a 540 up top. Lighting taken care of by Radion and Reef Brights. They're also Reef Bright T5s. Those are 4 Reef Bright Supra fixtures flanking the Radions. And it's taken care of down below with a 300-gallon sump. That's a Bubble King Supermarine 300. This chamber here is approximately 100 gallons by itself, and it's lined with just Miracle Mud. This side over here, you can see, it's a little noisy at the moment. I need to change the filter floss. 2 Red Dragon RD3 pumps running the system. I run dual GFO reactors. They're staggered by 3 weeks starting period in between, so that what I do is every other month I change the opposite one. That way you never have an up and a down on your phosphates. Everything just stays as a baseline. You always have one that's fresh. The phosphates never creep up. We'll slide over here and you can see part of the system here. This is a 50-gallon macroalgae tank with just Dragon's Breath. I like the Dragon's Breath. You can see it's doing quite well in here. There's about 50 gallons of it in here. I harvest it every week. It grows quite well. This tank is lit with, again, another Reef Bright Supra fixture, running just the blues, running their actinic blues and a 100% blue Reef Bright on the bottom. Everything fed into the system here. I have some not being utilized at the moment, but the new KH Director, I do have it online. I also have Alp, Calc, and Mag online, and I'm also feeding Acro Power on the one on the far right. The 2 smaller ones feed my biodenitrator, and that's pretty much the heart of this system for keeping nitrates down under such a heavy bio load. I'll show that to you in just a second. You can see up here, control panel that I've been working on, getting everything in place. Still a mess. I have some more ballast to mount, a little bit more wire cleanup to do. I did take so that the sump, there would be basically no wiring all through the front. You can see down through it, makes it nice and easy to work on anything you want to get to. The biodenitrator here, fed from the small one on the left there. It's fed methanol and a 50-50 split with RODI. The methanol feeds the bacteria that run inside the unit, and you can see nice gooey slimy bacteria in there, some of the nastiest stuff you could ever imagine. But as you can see all the way down to this chamber, the water is pristine and clear. The bacteria take care of all the magic. Put this back on there. I just made the chamber myself. It's just a chamber made out of acrylic. You could use basically anything if you wanted to. It's fed over on this side. My Apex runs everything, takes care of feeding it. The methanol's fed to it. The bacteria does their job. Once the bacteria have run through their cycle, it just degasses off right here, basically taking NO3 and making it into NO2. Runs on a cycle. It recycles 3 times a day, so that's basically 90 gallons of water going back into the system every day. It's pure. And you can see my wiring mess. I still have to clean up some there. And that's pretty much it. It's a pretty simple system setup. Nothing too elaborate. I try and keep everything simple. Like I said again, the only things I'm dosing alkalinity, calcium, magnesium, acropower. The biodenitrator is being fed methanol. And at times I do dose strontium nitrate into the biodenitrator also if I notice the cycles on it and the bacteria needs a little bit of a boost on some food for itself until the next cycle starts. About once a year I'll tweak the measurements on that. But as you can see, everything runs back here, all contained in its own room. I still have a lot of work to do on this. The floor's got to be finished up. The plumbing is going to be changed around. That was just makeshift, and it kind of dwindled into a couple of years as opposed to me just putting it in place to start things up. It is ran with a lot of flow. The flow from the 2 reflow pumps, it runs dual reflow RD3 pumps, as I said, the DC 230s, and it also is flow is taken care of by 4 MP60s, 2 on each end. Feeds up into 4 returns there, one of them on the very back side. All it does is fire straight down in. Now when the tank shuts off, you don't have to worry about any water overflowing down below because immediately that breaks your siphon. And if you look, there's 4 returns over on the other side, and again, one of them there in the very back, just barely into the water, will break the cycle. And that's pretty much it, other than just keeping on top of all of your measurements, keeping things stable, letting everything run, trace elements being replaced by the Miracle Mud. Haven't done any water changes other than to replace a few gallons a couple times a year when I go to frag swaps. And I took out some water and put things back in, and usually I just put RO back in because the system's so big it really doesn't matter if I just replace 15 gallons of RO. It doesn't even budge the salinity. And that's about it.